Hello and welcome to the University of Law. In this video I am going to be reviewing and unboxing Doctor Who Season 1, the Steelbook Blu-ray set, and kind of talking about my thoughts about the season as we go through. I know this has been out for a while and I've had it for a while, but with a lot of my reviews I'm quite behind, so I'm just catching up now. So I went with the Steelbook. You can see it's 7 discs, but it's nice and thin. It's obviously rebranded as Season 1, not to be confused with Season 1 from 1963. I'm trying to think now. So this is Series 14 of New Doctor Who, which means technically that makes it Series 40 in total of all of Doctor Who, because 26 classic seasons, and then if this is the 14th 21st century season, that makes 40. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? We've got 40 years and we're on our 15th Doctor. So this is the 15th Doctor's debut season. So what's great is it's nice and thin. So I'd say the standard edition looked amazing. The artwork looked incredible. But obviously it's having shelf space. And I thought, you know what, if I can get it in a slimmer package. But also this is really amazing, the Steelbook. I was blown away actually when I got the Season 13 special Steelbook. That's the first time I bought this Doctor Who Steelbook other than Sharda. And I got it because, again, it was slimline. You were getting 3 specials in the same case rather than having to get 2 cases to get one with the Sea Devil and Dalek and one with the Power of the Doctor. So that's why I kind of got them. And I thought it was a really nice package. And this is the same as well. But yeah, they've achieved it. I'll get this open. But they've achieved it by stacking the discs, which I know isn't everyone's favourite way of doing it, but I am in favour of it if it means it takes up less space on the shelf. So yeah, we've got 3 discs on this side, 4 discs on this side, and underneath the disc, and I won't get it out now, there's a lovely image all the way across of the Abbey Road recreation of that kind of crossing from Abbey Road. But yeah, what's really nice about this is they've really brought it in line, I feel, with the collection sets. It is just packed with bonus features. I mean, we've got it on the back here. We've got 6 hours of additional material. Most of it's available online, you know, on like YouTube and iPlayer, so you aren't really losing out. If you don't get the physical, you can still get most of it around, but it's nice as a collector to have it all in one place and to know that it's safe and on your shelf to watch at any time. What I'm thinking of doing perhaps is getting some, you know, you can get sort of disc-shaped paper that you kind of get when you buy blank DVDs and Blu-rays. I might put some of those in between each disc to kind of protect them, maybe, with the stacking. But I'm more than happy with this. So, as always, you got your more exciting products booklet. But this will be my guide today to talk me through everything. So I haven't even scratched the surface of the bonus features on here. I'll kind of go through disc by disc really quickly. So Church and Ruby Road, a lot of these adventures I did kind of review as they came out on television. But Church and Ruby Road, I really enjoyed. It was nice to have a really nice festive adventure. And we're going to have another one coming up as well, written by Stephen Moffat, which is going to be fantastic. With all these episodes, you get the behind the scenes that came on YouTube. You get the Unleashed that came on iPlayer and was broadcast. You get a lot of these YouTube specials, things like Get to Know Doctor Who. We've got the behind the scenes trailer, all those kind of, and Set Tour I think is exclusive. InVision commentary was from iPlayer, so it's collecting all these bits and pieces together. But yeah, Church Ruby Road I thought was really nice, and it is very much episode 1 of this story. You know, a lot of the time with the specials in the past they've been standalone adventures, but this really did feel, and I guess with an 8-episode season it was important to do that because it's made it more of a 9-episode arc, and indeed it might even be longer because season 2 looks like it's going to be building on some of the themes going forward. Disc 2, we've got Space Babies and the Devil's Cord. As I said at the time, Space Babies I think was a real manifesto. It was the first time it was being released on Disney Plus, and I think there was a whole new audience and a whole new international audience. And I think it was Russell T Davies making it clear that this is what Doctor Who is. Doctor Who, it isn't Star Wars or Star Trek. I loved those shows, but Doctor Who is its own unique. There's nothing like Doctor Who, and no other program could do a story like Space Babies. And I think that was very much a kind of a manifesto that this is what Doctor Who can do. And The Devil's Called was pretty much the same kind of thing, except that was a sort of sci-fi looking, futuristic story, and that was a kind of a historical, but a like apocalyptic in many ways. Apocalyptic, obviously, because the Beatles never recorded their incredible catalogue. But also, and I remember at the time of thinking, oh, they've nicked that scene from Pyramids of Mars, and I'll come to that later, because it's actually, it was foreshadowing. They also first mentioned Susan, and that also, again, that will come up later as well. Then disc 3, probably my favourite disc of the set would be disc 3. Boom, I really enjoyed it. I always preferred, and I love all of Doctor Who, but personally, I always preferred the Ross T. Davis stuff, the kind of 2005 to 2010 stuff. Probably because it was when I was a child and nostalgia. However, Boom, it felt like it was a lost episode that I hadn't seen before from the Matt Smith era. It would have fitted perfectly in season 6, and it made me nostalgic for that era. I really enjoyed how the dialogue, everything. It was, you could tell that Stephen Moffat had really been given that ability to kind of just, well, it's someone who knows Doctor Who as well as him. He was able to just kind of take that script and run with it. Brilliant concept. Keeping the Doctor in one place. It was a fantastic concept episode that really worked for me. And of course, looking at the special features, we had that wonderful in-vision commentary where we had that revelation about Pertwee's Burgers, which is probably worth for me the cost of the Steelbook, just having that on disc. And then, of course, 73 Yards. I made the mistake with this season of watching the episodes as they released at midnight on iPlayer. So I was, everyone else had gone to bed. I was downstairs. Lights were all off, midnight, and I watched 73 Yards. And yes, it was very, very scary watching it at midnight, completely alone. And that's why, it was a really... I think the thing with this eight episode series is that there really was something unique about every episode. Every episode was a different flavour. I think there's definitely more to that episode that we're going to see fleshed out next season. I think there's probably a lot in it that's going to pay off next year. Certainly a lot of it paid off in the finale. Again, I guess really both of those episodes were probably my highlights of the series, really. Some great guest performances, of course. Great to see Unit back. Really great performance from Ruby's mum in this episode. And I thought the whole emotional stakes and companion, but also some really funny moments as well. The bit about the can I pay with my phone and all that. There were some lovely moments, especially in the pub scene. And it all came together really well. The whole idea of being 73 yards away from... Oh, spoiler alert, by the way. Being 73 yards away from, is it Roger Ap William? And, being able to scare him off. I thought that was really good. Then we've got Disc 4, Dot and Bubble. Again, another unique episode. It did feel a lot like it would have fitted in like the Colin Baker era. There was something about it, even the design of the monsters. And of course, I won't spoil it, but there were some really interesting, thought-provoking twists through that episode as well. Rogue was a really fun one. I'm trying to think, that did feel like a David Tennant style historical, a bit like Girl in the Fireplace. Again, some great guest performances in there, and great to see the Schalke Doctor referenced on the screen, which is really interesting. And again, I think there are maybe, I won't go into spoilers, I think there might be characters who might be coming back later in the 15th Doctor's arc. And then we come to the finale. Now, Legend of Ruby Sunday, I saw more than any other episode at the time, because I watched it when it came out, and then I had to watch it again the following when I woke up a few hours later. Then I watched it when I went to go and visit my parents and my sister, and we watched it there. I thought, because I guess that was the following day, I had to see it. I wanted to see their reaction, and I did what, because I've been listening to the podcast the whole way through, and obviously a lot of the official channels were trying to get us to think about it being Susan, and I'm so glad they did, because it was a lovely red herring, and they really played to that red herring wonderfully for the fans. So I I pretended to let slip about, "Oh, you ready to see Carol Ann Ford?" to my sister, just to annoy her. And then straight away, pre-titles, "Oh, Susan," it's my granddaughter. And then, of course, you find out it's Sutek, one of the most wonderful, a fantastic play on words. And again, Primrose of Mars. So I liked it. It was interesting reinvention of the character, because obviously he was like a jackal form before, and they've kind of evolved that. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought the Legend of Cerebral Sunday was absolutely faultless build up. It was absolutely faultless. And I watched it again on the Friday after, because I went to the cinema to see Empire of Death, and we got to see Legend of Ruby Sunday again first. It was absolutely faultless in its build up. And then of course, Empire of Death, I think in particular, its particular strength was the real final scenes where we got real closure for Ruby. I liked how it brought in some of the 73-yard stuff, etc. But no, it was kind of real emotional payoff for her mum. Little seeds of about her dad coming up as well, and an emotional goodbye to the Doctor. I think for me, one of my preferences with any story is I tend to like stories where it's a race against the clock to stop a villain winning, rather than a villain winning and then you've got to try and turn back the clock. There's nothing wrong with those stories, and a lot of people really enjoy them. My personal preference is I tend to like a race against the clock, and we'll come to this on disc 7, the original Pyramids of Mars, is basically you get a taste of this is what will happen if we fail, but the whole episode is very much Sutek's trying. They try again and again to try and stop Sutek. They are failing terribly. It looks like his return is inevitable, and in the last minute the Doctor does something clever to stop his return, and that tends to be my kind of story, where it's about trying to stop the worst from happening rather than the worst is happening. But still, there were some real emotional bits to build on. I think when I first saw that Kate Stewart was destroyed by Sutek, I thought, oh, that's a bold thing to start the finale off with. And then I think when the rest of Unit followed suit, I thought, oh, I think there's going to be a resolution here where they come back. But I thought that would have been interesting. I loved the character of Kate Stewart, but it would have been really interesting, I think, if that character hadn't come back, and what's the fallout of that. I thought that would have been really interesting. But I enjoyed the whole series. I enjoyed the finale. And as I say, I really enjoyed it. They're just some of the thoughts that I did have around it. So then we come to disc 6 and 7 are the Unleashed. But for me, the highlight of the whole set was this, the Tales of the TARDIS, the Pyramids of Mars. Now, I know it's controversial. A lot of people don't like re-edits. I did a review I've done 2 reviews on this channel of the Daleks in colour. I reviewed it when it was broadcast, and I reviewed it when the Blu-ray came out. I really enjoy that, and what's great about Doctor Who is that when they do something like new effects on, the new Season 25 set coming up has got new extended cuts with new soundtrack, new effects on every story. But the originals will still be on there. So if you just like the originals, you can watch the originals. But for me, I love being able to watch something new. And I really found watching the Horror of Fang Rock this year with a 5.1 soundtrack, new effects, it was like watching the story again, and I actually enjoyed it all the more for it. And I really loved these, and I thought it was cut really well. They did that clever trick again of having statically shot dialogue actually overlaying scenes of action that maybe didn't have dialogue. So if you've got a scene of the Doctor and Sarah running through a forest, but there was no dialogue, overlaying that with Sutek's plotting, even if that was a static scene. So it moves the plot along. You're keeping all the stuff in there, but you're actually halving the time you're taking to tell that story. There were some great tweaks where they removed, I think, the cushion of Sutek and the hand of Sutek on his cushion on his throne. But I thought the new effects were really good, really sensitive. I thought they really merged well. And of course, there was the lovely framing device. It is set within the Empire of Death. So yeah, I really love this set, and again, I just love reappraising classic Who and recreating and reinventing it for new audiences, and be able to see these classic stories again afresh. And it was great to actually have that included here on the set. Obviously, it wasn't quite the same for the initial Tales of the TARDISes, because they, the original ones, the original 6 from the 60th, they didn't they weren't edited, and they didn't have new effects. However, they do have the scenes, the bookend scenes with the classic characters. So I would really like, maybe now we're coming up to the year since the 60th, to maybe do a 4K set, maybe. Which has got all of the broadcast material from the 60th, so maybe being able to have the Children in Need special on there, which hasn't been physically released yet, and having those Tales of the TARDIS, and maybe the interview with Ross Davis that came out at the time, and the concert, and that Doctor Who special where David Tennant, looked at all the different interviews of the Doctors. We'd love to have that as a nice little 4K set, maybe, or even just a steelbook. So hopefully that, because I know when the 50th, they released them all, and then about a year after, they did that lovely 50th box set with everything in. So I'm hoping they might do the same. But what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the package and the set and the bonus feature? What are your thoughts on the series? Do let me know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I look forward to speaking to you soon.